What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about trying to give updates on everything going on with the Middle East and stuff. So, we have different things going on. Some of it may look promising for some, not promising for others. So anyway, we'll talk about it all here. Uh, thank you for joining. If you are, if you like what I'm doing here, please consider subscribing, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Check out my other channels over there. JMD Drummer, JMD Play. Got a Discord there if you want to. One-time donation, or above, you can do JMD Nation for $3 a month. Anything you do is very, very much appreciated. All right, so enough of all that. So let's swap it over. All right. Wait, I seem close. All right. So okay. So we have a few things. So we had last week the ICC finally bringing down their judgment on the warrants. This was something that was started back in, I think, June, if I'm not mistaken, where they were looking into doing warrants. I think they were pretty much presenting them to, I guess, judges of sorts, and going through the information and whatnot to actually sign off on the warrants. And of course, remember these were for Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu, and then Yoav Gallant for Israel, and then there was 3 for Hamas. Now, fast forward to now, what we have released, I guess it was last week when they actually gave out the warrants. You have, of course, still Netanyahu and Gallant, and then only one Hamas member, and that is because the other 2 are dead. You can't really give warrants to dead people. So now the other Hamas member, the other one that was brought out on the warrants, Israel has claimed that they are dead, but there has been no final verification, a body or anything like that so far. So technically, he's still potentially alive. So that's the reason why he was actually included in these warrants as well, even though Israel does claim that they've already killed him. So we have, of course, immediately after this, you have Netanyahu come out calling it anti-Semitic, bashing it and everything. You have the U.S. come out, of course, basically, not acknowledging, acknowledging, but not giving it any creditation, and said that it was going too far and all this stuff. The same rhetoric that we did back in June when this was initially brought up. We do not recognize the ICC as a country, so therefore we do not recognize the warrants, and would not go through with it because they are our ally, and we don't care about that. We don't care about criminals, apparently. So when they are our allies, anyways. You had other countries as well, a couple of our allies that again sort of gave the same rhetoric that they would not. Germany, I think, was one that most certainly said that they would not go through with the warrant and stuff like that. But you did have a few, surprisingly, that actually said that they would comply to the warrants. Canada being one, which was interesting, and I believe also France, if I'm not mistaken, and a couple others in the European area that uh, uh, I'm pretty sure Scotland and Ireland or whatever. I'm pretty sure they or one of the other two. Whatever, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to state. I'm not going to take guesses. But I know those two most certainly was like the big ones that come out saying that they would comply. And of course, so what does this all really mean, though? Right? Um, what basically is that uh, you have a warrant now. The IC that's been given out by the ICC, the International Criminal Court. This there's 120 something or so countries that uh, identify themselves with the ICC. So they're and most of those probably will comply. So there's a whole lot of countries now that if Netanyahu or Gallant, or of course this Hamas member too, if they enter into those countries, um, there is a chance that they can be arrested for the crimes that were stated within this warrant or these warrants. And that's not just on the surface. They can even be detained through the air. So if they actually enter into airspace of one of these countries could potentially force the plane to land and go through with the arrest procedures. So this does make things kind of complicated for Netanyahu and Gallant, and who both of which, from my understanding, do like to travel a lot, especially uh, Netanyahu. So it makes it very much harder for him to basically get around. um, and it gives a risk for him to to travel almost anywhere uh, with the risk of being detained in some kind of way and being arrested. So that's in itself good. Uh, how much of an effect that see the ICC does not have any type of like enforcement mechanism. It has to be enforced by the countries and stuff who recognize it. So this would have to solely go through, any country. Like they would have to be willing to enforce it. Uh, so that means it would be up to that country. Now you could take the risk and go wherever, and and basically hardball and bluff. Call any country's bluff if he wants to. I suppose if he thinks he's that is whatever big and bad, he can do that. Because like I said, it ultimately comes down to the country and them being willing to actually go through with the procedure and arrest them. So now, uh, interestingly, well, not interesting, expectedly, we have had a bunch of internal lashing out as well from members like Lindsey Graham and stuff like that, who has come out and basically threatened uh, our allies who have stated that they would comply. He has come out bashing and threatening to, collapse them economically and everything else. That they would throw all kinds of, sanctions or whatnot. That they would bury them for complying with this, and if they can, were to go through with this. It is nuts. It is nuts how we have so many members of our government who not only appears to be perfectly okay with war, almost of any kind, but also to the point that they don't even recognize that there is any, like, they don't even recognize any kind of problem with it. And then if you go against them on it, they will do everything that they can to bury you for it, to punish you for it. You don't have the freedom to threaten other countries, say like Canada. You're threatening Canada as if they don't have the freedom to make their own decisions on how they are going to comply with any kind of international law or whatever. Like they are under your control and they have no freedom to do whatever because they must agree with you and comply with you instead. Or you're going to threaten them with all kinds of economical strife and whatnot. I mean, it's once again, this continuously falls into with the issue with the argument. I can't even speak. Continuously comes into the Republican talking point that they are about freedom, that they are the freedom party, when clearly the only freedom that they give a fuck about is their own and how they would like to implement their freedom on everybody else. Clearly. It's appalling. And don't get me wrong, there's Democrats that are probably to some degree agree with it too. But it's damn near 100% of the Republicans. A very damning amount. So, okay, so we have that. We have ICC come down. So warrants are out there, making it harder for Netanyahu and whatnot. Things with Gaza have continued. The north is still under siege. Nothing getting in. So that all there's nothing to update except for things there are continuing as what has become apparently the normal. So, and that doesn't seem to. There seems to be nothing to do there, like nothing that can be done about it because nobody's willing to stop it. But today we did have apparently a ceasefire agreement with Lebanon. The Lebanon government, along with Israel, U.S., and I think France also was included in this as far as helping with the negotiations, coming to a ceasefire agreement. This has been accepted apparently by the Lebanese government and accepted by Netanyahu at least, and he was presenting it to his cabinet for approval. I'm a little wishy-washy on whether they actually approved it or not. Some ways that I've seen it is that they did approve it, but there's other ways it looked like maybe not yet. I don't know. But Biden did come out with an address today on the ceasefire as if it was approved, which we've seen that before. We've seen him come out saying that stuff was approved, and then suddenly, next thing we hear is, Israel found a way to not accept it. So this is supposed to take in effect tomorrow. I want to say 4 p.m. It could be a.m., but I'm thinking it's 4 p.m. Of course, it depends upon whether we're talking about their time or our time. Um, so it may be 4 p.m. our time, uh, which would be there tomorrow. I don't know. Anyways, or there today. I'm confused on that. Anyways, well, they're ahead of us. So it may be 4 a.m. It actually may be 4 a.m., which that would be tomorrow for them. Uh, so this would be a ceasefire and a potentially permanent ceasefire. Uh, Israel's, of course, given that based on how Lebanon or Hezbollah reacts, um, there will be 60 days for the Lebanese army to take back all the land in the south, to secure it and prevent any Hezbollah, rearmament or uh, you know, re-engaging or development or anything like that. To take over the area, and then across those 60 days, of my understanding, I think it is that Israeli troops will little by little move out of that area, little by little pull troops as they are seeing, I guess, the advancement of these agreements being uh, being taken, I guess. So that's my understanding loosely of how it's going to work. Uh, and of course, Israel is Netanyahu is given that if there is anything being seen as far as Hezbollah being rearmed, creating any kind of establishments, if there's anything, even just and it's so open that Israel could claim almost anything to be Hezbollah, and they have the right to re-engage. Um, it's so loose, in my opinion, that it's basically almost given them the ability to re-engage whenever they want to. They can just claim something, which they have done. They've claimed, all through this, that someone calls this and that or whatever is Hamas, or this and that is Hezbollah or whatever, and that's given them the authority to drop a bomb. So it is very loose, in my opinion, and gives them the freedom to re-engage at any point they want to. But Netanyahu gave his, I guess, 3 reasons for agreeing with this. One, so that they can commit and focus on Iran, which is another issue for me. Secondly, so that they can get so that the IDF, the military, can get some breathing room and rearm itself. So that gives me the hint that they are thin out on on military equipment and stuff like that, and they're really probably at a point where they actually probably could see some problems if they continue to re-engage. That's what I'm taking from this. If they continue to engage with Hezbollah, because Hezbollah still, even though there's been a lot of damage done to their infrastructure, a lot of damage done to what they've their armaments and stuff like that, they're still engaging. They're still sending out drones. They're still shooting off missiles. From my understanding, I mean they're still able to engage. Maybe not quite as hard as they were before, but they're still able to engage. And from their word, they are actually taking this as Israel losing. And of course, this is rhetoric. That's what they're going to do. They're going up. Israel's lost. They're retreating, and that's the reason why they're agreeing to this. We are strong and we can continue. Blah blah blah. So I don't know if even rhetoric at this point could be what triggers Israel to reengage. Of course, we've got to be engaged first, or unengaged first, which is not quite there yet. And so that they can then, of course, commit to eradicating Hamas. That's the other reason. So, and this is supposed to, like I said, the 60 days for Lebanon to take over the area, and Israel back out, and then everybody can go back to, Israeli people can go back to their homes, the Lebanese people can go back to their homes. That's the so-called idea. So, my concern is the Iran thing, because I feel like the discussion of them focusing on Iran, that one is a bit that's a little concerning. And so, and this is 60 days out. We're talking about by then we are getting ready for the Trump administration to come in. So, from there, well, no, we're not getting ready. We have the Trump administration in by then. So at that point, I don't even know, I guess then, because Iran's been trying to also engage in ceasefire, peace talks, whatnot. I mean, they've, been trying to argue to get back into a, nuclear agreement. I mean, there's because they don't really want a war. They honestly don't. Netanyahu's the one that wants the war, and that's been clear for a while now. So, yeah, it's a lot going on there. So we have warrants, ceasefire now, potentially by tomorrow, and a commitment by Israel to continue the stuff on Hamas and get their hostages back. So that's going to continue, and I don't know what to say there. I'm with a loss of words for Gaza. In the video I watched also, it was talking about, he was basically boasting about all the things that they have done in Gaza. He named off Judea and Samaria, which is the West Bank. They don't call the West Bank the West Bank. He refers to it as Judea and Samaria. Basically, it being theirs, and all these stuff that they've done there. So he's the terrorist groups and whatnot that he claims they all claim are all throughout there. Of course, he spoke about Yemen, spoke about Syria, all these things that they've accomplished. And because they have been bombing everybody, and they've been doing all kinds of stuff. So I'm concerned for the West Bank. As we know, we've been talking about with those that the Trump administration is trying to get put through, like Huckabee and stuff. I mean, it's just, I'm for a loss of words at the moment for Gaza and the West Bank. I don't know what's going to happen, and I really am concerned and feel for all the Palestinian people. Continue, I don't know what to do about that though. But talk about it, I guess, and bring any up to news updates I possibly can. So, but as far as I know, that's pretty much the gist of what's going on right now. and it's, you know, just it's basically a waiting game to see if these stuff actually goes through and what becomes of it, if it stays firm, or if there's re-engagement over whatever, you know, whatever Israel claims to be going on for them to re-engage. I don't know. Um, but anyway, thank you for joining me. That's pretty much it for this video. And let me know what you think. You know, let me know what you think about um, the ICC warrants and stuff like that. What do you think about the ceasefire? Do you think any of this is going to make any kind of difference, short term, long term, anything? And yeah, let me know. You know, leave comments or what you want me to cover. If there's anything that I didn't speak on, you want me to give my opinion or what I know about it or something. Let me know. Anyway, thank you very much, and until next time, peace. ClearTalk. I'm out.